When you're running a business, you will find that there is going to be a level of toxicity that surrounds you and your business, especially when you start. And potentially right now, if you are stuck in the messy middle of it all. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about how to help yourself around toxic people that are around your business to help you with your mindset. This is something that I feel really passionate about, but I just want to let you know that this is completely normal. Like there are going to be people around you that you identify more as maybe toxic to the success of your business and to the success of you than before you got into this mindset wonderful whirlpool that we get into as business owners. Before I get going, this is take 7,125. There are issues with my microphone and there is, and it's just one of them days when I think this episode is probably going to be the best episode I've ever recorded because it's taken me so much shizzle to get to this point. And how long am I in? I'm a minute and 30. So let's hope this is the longest. I think I got to 2 minutes on one take. It's ridiculous. Anyway, welcome. Welcome to the No Rest for the Vivid Business podcast. My name is Claire Hill. I am a self-belief and business coach, and I am here to support you to turn the volume right up on your self-belief and turn it all the way down on your doubt. I am I named myself the Queen of Unstoppable Self-Belief because I've never met anybody yet that has the levels of self-belief that I have, as well as not being a cock. Like, well, I don't know. Hopefully I'm not a cock. Yeah, I'm not arrogant. I'm not like, I am exactly what you see on the tin. Um, as the buzzword, authentic. But I wouldn't know how to be fake. I really wouldn't. This is me anyway, and I see that myself as the queen of unstoppable self-belief because I just know my shit. I really know my shit when it comes to helping you get out of your own way, as well as growing a business. Because you're listening to this because you run a business, I would imagine, or you're one of my best mates, or you just really love the idea of working on your mind because everything that I'm talking about actually applies to leadership as well, apart from like maybe some of the marketing stuff. But this business is, uh, I just had to check then, hold on, in real time. The microphone's still working. Brilliant. Um, but yeah, I just think that this is a brilliant podcast for anybody that just wants to level themselves up and step into the most vivid version of themselves. So here we are, my loves. But as we do this, there is always going to be toxic people around us and toxic situations. And with my own story, as I started to I really feel like I had like these tinted lenses on that I wasn't able to see clearly where I was in my life, what I wanted. And I was very guided by the shoulds that we have in life, the people around me, because in some warped way, well, I say warped, I think we all have this, where we have people around us that we respect and we really value their opinion. And part of us goes, okay, I can't, I have to listen to them. I have to do what they say because, you know, and especially with my story, what do I know? Like coming from poverty, but coming from the childhood that I came from, I was always the less than in a room. So then I'm going to be guided by my own authority, my own instinct. You having a laugh? Like that was so alien to me until I realised it's the most natural thing in the world. But before that, I was just listening to so many people's opinions. And when I started on this journey of self-development and really started to crack into it, I realized that I could feel the energy, the toxic energy of people. And I would go to certain events. And usually at that point, this was a few years ago, I would have to be drunk to be able to deal with that. Like saying it out loud, I feel a little bit of shame. I'm not going to shame myself, but I do feel a little bit of ashamed of that because at the time, now that's really wrong for me to say that I'm ashamed, but I felt like, I suppose I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that for me to survive being around toxic people, I had to be drunk. But I'm guessing that's actually it might apply to you too. That might resonate. Like going to situations, social events, or hanging around with people that I'm like, God, if I don't have a drink, this is the most boring shit that I've ever sat through. Um, Funnily enough, those people aren't in my life anymore. Because as soon as I realised what I was worthy of being treated really well and being supported and not be made to feel small and pulled down, then I was like, I'm not having it. Just those boundaries are so important. And this fits with like when I talk about how to up level and create that unstoppable self belief and grow your business, that is all linked to my Warrior Boss method. And the first stage of the Warrior Boss method is about protecting your energy. That comes from having beautiful boundaries around it, as well as boundaries around creating your energy. So if you are at the point in your business where you have got that, like your mindset is really sharp, unless you walk into a certain room, this is the podcast for you. Um, and definitely, I think you feel the toxicity so much more. Now, there are different levels. There's like a spectrum of toxicity, isn't there? There's those people that are just really bitter and really horrible and spiteful. And, potentially they might be spiteful towards you. There's that one end. And then there's the other side where, like, the spectrum is, but I've got your best interests at heart. And, like, you might have been friends with them for a really, really long time, or they might be in your family. And you think, I've got to like listen to them because it will hurt their feelings if I don't listen to them. But sometimes, and this is the truth, this is like the truth bomb, they're saying those things because they want to keep you small. And you will find that there are friends in your circle, in your family. And this is what happened to me. They only wanted to hear about my drama. They only wanted to hear about the things that were going wrong in my life. Like it was. And I was very easily, I could create that because part of my doubt wants and still does. She's a sneaky little bugger, my doubt. She loves trying to create a little bit of chaos and bitterness in my brain just to keep me going back to that misery. No, I'm not. I said, one of my new clients today, I feel, I would share with you the conversation, but it's on the phone I'm using the camera for. And basically, she said, I'm feeling so flat today. Like, I think it's because of my monthly, my period, but I just feel so flat. And I was like, the first thing about self belief is you've got to listen to your body and not push through. Because if you are trying to trust that your instincts are in your favor, and then the first time your instincts in your body goes, we really need to rest today, like we haven't got it in us, we really haven't. And you go, fuck that. I'm going to push through. That's your doubt and your head talking. Your self belief is going to go, bloody hell. Like, how can I support her to believe? So this is me as your self belief talking in your head. How can I support her to believe that she's going to be able to get all of those things ticked off and those big dreams happening if she doesn't even listen to her body? Like your body is telling you to rest. So I said to her, she's like, I'm going to tell my doubt that Claire told you to shut up. And I was like, yeah, shut your cake hole, doubt. That's me as a coach. Shut your freaking cake hole, doubt. Get out of her head. And also this quote that I was told, and it's such an important question. It's like, the question is not, have you worked hard enough to rest? The question is, have you rested enough to produce your best work? Most of the time it's no, isn't it? Like we say we have the weekend off and then we're just pottering about seeing loads of people when really we want to sit in front of the TV or sitting with a book. And my kid, right, Jackson, if I'm like, oh, we're going to go and do this, this, and this, he doesn't care. He just wants to sit in his pajamas, literally play Lego and play Minecraft all day long, read a couple of books, watch Lego Masters. He don't give a shit about going to a farm or shopping or anything like that. He just wants to sit in his pants. And I let him most of the time because that's what I want to do. But no, we had a wonderful weekend this weekend. Anyway, I'm digressing because the point of me talking about that is that as you become more in tune to what your body says and the fact that your doubt is telling you one thing and really you should be listening to another, is that you're going to feel more sensitive around people. So it might be that your friends are just, or your family they're nowhere near on that spectrum of um understanding and being self-aware and understanding what their doubt is saying or their self-belief is saying and all of that. They might not even be on the radar of it, but you are in this heightened, you know really hyper vigilant self-awareness state where every single thought that's coming into your head, every word you're saying, every action is in line with who you want to become. That takes so much frigging work, babe. Like, honestly, it's exhausting, but worth it. There comes a point, and as I've said in an earlier episode, of when that morning, like now, I wake up and I'm like, I'm on my way to my first million, or I'm like, oh my god, I can feel my self belief. I've got into this zone. It's all a bit. This is a little bit woo woo actually, but as I fall asleep, there is a scientific name for it. I want to say it's beta waves, some kind of waves that your thoughts go into just before you fall asleep and just as you're waking up. And that's a really powerful time for your mindset. And so a couple of weeks ago, I'd found this way as I'm falling asleep to like feel the fire of my self belief in my chest. Like I can feel it anyway, but I was like, whoa, that is potent self belief right there. Like I can feel the roar of that fire. And so as I was just going to sleep, I was just thinking about all of the goals that I'm working towards, who I'm becoming, my future self. I was just thinking about all of those things as I fell asleep. And then as I woke up, I was able to do the same thing. So as I was waking up, and this is like the alarm's gone off. This is the thing. Well, maybe it was a day when I'd woken up before the alarm. I think it was actually. But anyway, I could just feel myself, this self belief like roaring. I could feel it. I was like, okay, I wonder if I can do that in real time, like when I'm awake, and I can. So now, if I'm like, for a moment, if doubt starts coming in, being an arsehole, I'm just like, hang on a minute, because my doubt's called Clara. I'm like, hang on a minute, Clara, pipe down, babes. And then I just sort of, I don't sit there like this, by the way. If you're watching, I've got my hands in like a yoga pose, but I just sort of connect with that feeling. I'm like, okay, my self belief, this is what I want, and I just focus on the relief of achieving my goals. Like I'm doing it now. It's like the best feeling. And so that's why you do the work. That's why you've got to do it. But one thing that really helps me with toxic people. So I need to get to the actual value here, don't I, babe? I'm 13 minutes in. When this is how I deal with toxic people. Number one, I have empathy for them. They don't know any different. And it is not your job either to tell them how to think or what to believe or how to feel. It's nobody else's job. You've got to stay in your own lane and help yourself. Unless you're a coach like me, and that's my job to support you to feel like this. But outside of that, they have to do their own work. And as people, when you're doing your self development, the only thing that you can do is keep showing up and showing what is possible for other people, because you can go through the door and you're going to have to leave them behind. Like you go forward like this, and you can't see if you're listening, but you have your hand behind you and you're leading them through. You can't go side by side. There's not enough room through the door. So that's one thing. You have to let them find their own lane and just keep going on yours. That's incredibly difficult when it's like your partner that is their mindset is really heavy. And say if something happens in the family, the first thing that they do is catastrophize everything. And I get it, because my husband was like that. He's not now, because I just focused on the best thing I can do for him is for me to get really, really like capable of looking after my own mindset, really focusing on my own happiness, because then he will see that it's possible and then do that for him too. That's how we work. Like, I really do believe it's not my husband's job to keep me happy. It's not his job to make me happy. It's my job to make me happy. And then his job to make him happy. And then we come, together. Though now I'm like, would you like me to offer some suggestions about how to think about this differently? And he's like, yeah, because it always fucking works. You know why? Because I'm a pro. But then, earlier there was a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying stuff to him, and he was like, God, you're right. I was like, can you write that down, please, and frame it? Bless him. It's and the thing is in comparison, like I think about him a couple of years ago, and some of the things I used to say, he'd be like, "That doesn't make any sense," and I'm like, "All right, thanks for your opinion." Because it's the other thing, number two, what I say, if someone says something to me that I think is a little bit belittling or is trying to shrink me, the first thing I say is, "Thank you, thank you for that interesting opinion. Really interesting that you said that." I don't honour it with trying to argue him to look at it another way or trying to or even just veri- validating it, verifying it. Not even validating it because again, I need to stay in my own lane. And if that's their opinion, that's their opinion. But just because someone, so say if I had a new idea, and this has happened loads of times, by the way, the eye roll when I come in and go, "This is the next big thing that I'm going to do," and people go, "Oh, ain't you got enough on your plate?" Yeah, I have, and I love it all. Thank you. I'm always going to have big ideas. That's my who I am. But people around me, it's too big for them to think that they're going to do it. So, but if it doesn't feel comfortable for them to do it, it's uncomfortable for anyone else to do it. So, pipe down, pipe down, let's shrink you a little bit because I haven't got time for feeling uncomfortable about that. So I always just respond with, "That's really interesting. Thank you for that opinion." And the third big thing is that when somebody, especially when you are self-aware and your self-development is going to a certain stage, you will find that your friends and family will potentially seek you out more to share the load with what's going on for them. And what I have learned is that even though I'm solution focused, not everybody is. And some of the time people just love to moan. And so it is my job, if they want that space, it is my job to give them that space, listen, respond appropriately, suggest like, do you want some solution? I've got some ideas of how you can get around this. And then move on. But I sort of shield my energy. It's really interesting. If you've ever explored human design, if you're in the Vivid Business Club, there's so much about human design in the Vivid Business Club because I'm really into it because of energy and stuff. I'm a projector and I've also got an open heart and open head, I think. So I can absorb people's opinions quite significantly and like their energy as well. So if I'm spending time with someone who is a misery guts and they're just moaning, moaning, moaning and they're not really helping themselves, I will get frustrated about that. Well, I used to get really frustrated about it. Now I'm like, it's not my life. Good old Mel Robbins. Let them do that. Let them moan. It's not my job to find their solutions. Just because I can help them doesn't mean I have to. I need to protect my own energy. And the thing is that when people aren't actually asking or wanting the solutions, that is a real drain on your energy. So remember, we've got to protect our energy. So when I am with people that just want to have a moan, I quickly gauge, like the people that I love the most, I'll quickly gauge whether they just need to just open up. And then I just imagine this yellow wall around my energy that's just protected. And I just think, right, I've worked really hard today to feel like this. I'm not going to let anybody destroy that. I'm going to protect my energy. It's really, really important. I'm still going to love this person as they are, but it's not my job is just to listen. And so I'll just give them space. The fourth thing, which is not what, is not really what I would suggest for everything. But it might be time to say goodbye. And for me, there have been people around me that just made me feel less than. And as soon as I started this journey, I could feel who those people were. And I was just really brave and listened to my instincts and asked myself, like, if I wasn't scared of saying goodbye to that friendship or that relationship, would I would I say goodbye? Because the fear is it's so unfamiliar. You're gonna be scared. You're gonna be scared about anything that's unfamiliar. And every single time my instinct's gone, no, it's time to say goodbye. One of those relationships tore me into has really broke my heart, but it had to happen. It had to be. It was a big process for me to go through, and it was one of the most. See, she that like my head, my doubt comes like, "Oh, you're exaggerating," but it was one of the most important relationships of my whole life, and I said goodbye to it. What can you do? And what it was like, they were my friend, and I think there's not as much. spoken about that. And as well, like the relationship I've got with my mum is a really, really difficult one. And the boundaries I've put around that is incredible. And I'm really pleased that I've done it, because it's not our job to change other people. It's our job to accept them for who they are. But even if they are trying their best, sometimes their best isn't good enough for you. And that's okay. It's okay to be, those standards. Like it, I need to protect my energy. And if someone's best is in the realm of making me feel small and less than, that's not good enough. It's not good enough for me. I think there's a lot of it's powerful to recognize that when people are trying their best, you should recognize it and be grateful. Someone's trying their best, but still, if that's putting your energy at a detriment and making you feel small and minimizing who you can become, they are not the right people for you potentially. I'm not telling you to go and quit all your friendships and stuff and relationships, but I've got to say, it's one of the most difficult things I've ever been through, with my friend and my mum. And it's part of the process of making me who I am. And I'm proud of who I am. So I've got to be grateful for those challenges. So there's 21 minutes of a little bit of deepness, my love. I really wanted today's episode to be a little bit more, talking about stuff that not really many people talk about, because it's really painful. Like even me talking to you about it now, like I can feel my heart hurting a little bit because it's still grieving a little bit. But sometimes we've got to let things go. We've got to, move on. And I think it would be lovely if you listen to the podcast. Tell me what do you want to learn more about? Like, these really tough subjects that you don't really hear many podcast episodes about, the stuff that hurts. Tell me about it and I'll record some podcasts, because I bet you I've been through something similar. Life is tough, my love, but so are you. Remember that. Okay, right, I'm going to move on. Move on. I've got to record the next episode, to be honest. Hannah's on my back. I'm 3 days late. 3 days late in my process. I was like, we're going to get all organised. Anyway, and then it was hot. I couldn't record in the office. Have a wonderful rest of your week, all day, wherever you're listening to this. Hit me up with some suggestions of what you want to hear from the podcast. DM me if you've listened. I love it. And also, if you haven't subscribed or followed yet, give me a little virtual high five. I love it. Honestly, we just love it when we see new subscribers and followers. It makes our day, my day, and Hannah's. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Speak to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Written, produced and hosted by Claire Hill, and music has been composed by my brother, Phil Vick.